Hey George, what you doing?
I'm playing a computer game.
Do you have cabin fever yet?
No, I don't. Because I like hanging out here at the house with you when we retired. That was really the plan.
Aww. That's sweet. Okay, if you don't have cabin fever yet, then you don't need to watch this video. But for those of you who do, this video is going to be all about staying in communication with your peeps. And honestly, this is not my field of expertise. I'm not that guy to make technology videos. So if you come to me and find technology, don't expect a whole lot more. Although I will probably do at least a couple of videos on how to stay in touch with the people you love. Because my study of one is really about improving your own life and really improving my life. So my life is definitely improved by staying in communication with the people I love. And I'm going to teach you some ways that I do it, and maybe you can suggest some ways that you're doing it. So I look forward to sharing with you these digital communication tips for safe socializing during the coronavirus pandemic. There are so many ways we can stay in touch with the people we love, and there are several ways that I'm going to demonstrate, but I also am just going to give you some links below. So if you'll look below for the links to the various different ways you can connect, and if you think of options that I haven't suggested here, will you please suggest them down below in the comments section, because I think the more we share this kind of stuff, the more connected we'll be, even though we can't be within 6 feet of one another. So you'll notice I have my hair up and my hair down and makeup on and no makeup, and that's because I've been doing this over the past several days, meeting and greeting people online to make demonstrations of how these various applications work. I really am looking forward to seeing what you think and what kind of comments you have about digital ways of staying in touch with people. I think as human beings, we are social creatures. We really do need to communicate. I'm going to encourage you to use the internet to communicate. And when it crashes, we can yell at our neighbors across the street. And I've actually been doing a little bit of that as well. I'm going to be sharing some screenshots with you so I can demonstrate how these various applications work and what they look like. There are some very basic ways of communicating. One of them is by phone, and this is a little bit of a demonstration of how if you get a crowd on the phone, if you have a group of friends or a family or a business group, and you are trying to communicate, but someone's got stuff going on in the background, either a dog barking or water running, you're going to need to mute your phone, and you can do that and simply listen to the conversation. I've noticed for some calls that having the speakerphone on and dealing with a call like that, while it sounds good on my end, sounds very choppy on the other end where the person is trying to listen to me if I have it on speakerphone. Check with your friends who are on the line with you and ask them how the sound quality is. That's a good idea in any application you use. It's just to check with the people who are listening to you. Even if you can hear them well, that doesn't necessarily mean that they can hear you equally as well. So simply ask, can you hear me all right on your end? And if they can't, try turning the speaker off and having the conversation that way. If it still doesn't work very well, go to another place in your house, onto your front porch. You could try different locations and you might find that you have one location that's better than another. If that fails, then just try making the call again and see if you can do it that way. There are other options, because if the phone doesn't work, you can always go to a computer or another device, and we'll talk about that some in this episode of Study of One. Most basic ways to stay in touch is through texting. I text with a lot of people if I have a short message. In this case, I texted my sister to ask her about helping me out on this video, and she suggested something that I hadn't thought of before, which is how to communicate with people in other countries. We have apps like Skype and FaceTime and GoToMeeting and some of these other ones that I'm talking about in this video. But when my nephew was in Korea, they had to communicate with another app that adapted to a Korean style of communication. I'm not sure what that is, but I will talk to him about it later. I'm going to start with something that everybody's pretty familiar with, and that is making a call from your smartphone. Only this time, I'm going to talk to you about how to merge calls so you can have more than one person on a call. If you have several family members or friends that you want to include on one call, I'm going to teach you how to merge calls on an Android. Remember, this is a study of one. My screen's going to look different from yours. But generally speaking, this works for most Androids. Make the call to the first person that you want to have on the call. Get all your gossip out about all the other people you're getting ready to call before you merge calls. Make sure when you're talking to more than one person, you know to whom you are talking. You're going to press your phone button, obviously, and bring up that person and make that call. As you are waiting for them to answer the phone, you can think about all the gossip and all the people that you want to include. Once the person answers the phone, then you're going to look for the other person to add to the call. You'll press the button for their number and call them. The other person is on hold while you're doing this. So they're going to be sitting there. Maybe they'll be washing their hands. Maybe they'll be reading the latest statistics on the coronavirus. Once you get a hold of the second person you're calling, there's a button that comes up that says merge call or add call. Press that and everything will go silent for just a few seconds while the two calls are merged into one. Now, all three of you are on the phone call together. Once you're on a call with, you could have 100 people on a call. But once you're on a call with 4 or 5 friends, there's an over-talking thing that happens. I'm sure you know about it when you're in person having a conversation and people get excited. Well, that happens on the phone too, except for you can't see anybody's facial expression if you're making a regular audio call. I call it just phone etiquette. When you're on a call, if you're doing some household chores while you're on this call, which a lot of people do, washing dishes, washing your hands, you want to be aware that people can hear all of those sounds in the background. So if you're not talking and contributing to the conversation, you can press the mute button, which allows you to hear the conversation, and in most cases even more clearly than before, while they don't have to listen to your background noise.
Turn your mute button on, please.
Just a minute.
That's better.
It's just good manners. I don't have Apple iPhone, so I have to use my Apple computer to communicate with my parents on FaceTime because that is an Apple product. So if I use my Apple laptop, my MacBook, I can actually call them from my MacBook, and the app for FaceTime is actually on the computer. I just asked my parents if I had their permission to record them while we were talking on FaceTime, so here we are. Yay! Yay! It's like we're in the same room! Yay!
Yeah, okay. Well, I was just talking to Gwen on the phone. I told her I had to answer the phone.
Oh yeah, we're healthy. And
matter of fact, we had an order from the grocery store yesterday. I sent in a list of things I wanted. And then this in the afternoon, late afternoon, they came with the bag open with all the stuff I signed up for. And so we're all set for groceries for breakfast and lunch.
I think we got 3 loaves of bread in the refrigerator now, so we're in great shape.
Should I come over and have lunch with you?
We got new
if you get in.
new jar of peanut butter. No, you couldn't get in.
I went for a walk this afternoon.
We'd have to meet you in the parking lot.
They let you out of the building?
Well, they let me out of the
I can't.
courtyard. Daddy can't because he went to the show.
You went to the show where there was someone who had the virus.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And that was at the
Capitol Steps.
Right. Okay, I'm going to stop recording now. Although my family is spread all over the map, I'm lucky because we're very close and we're used to actually making phone calls and talking to each other that way. But this kind of face-to-face interaction has been really nice to be able to develop, especially with my parents. I am not going to call my brother right now because he lives in California and the time zone is 3 hours earlier than here. So rather than call him at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm just going to say, "Hey, Beat." Like I said, I've been having great conversations on FaceTime with my parents. I also have a friend in town that I've been having some great conversations with. She actually has an iPhone, but she also has a MacBook and an iPad. So I've talked to her on FaceTime in several different ways, but because the only Apple product that I have is my laptop, I have to limit myself to talking to her on FaceTime with only my laptop. I'll show you how you can add another person to the call. I'm going to FaceTime Nancy and see if we can add Steve to the call. Yeah, there we go. I guess I'm learning too, huh? Hi, friend. Is this timing okay?
Yeah, this is great. How are you?
Good. I know it's getting to be a habit, isn't it? I'm going to put this video out probably today, and I'm showing people how to use certain things, but I didn't squeeze in everything because it's a lot.
I was supposed to have a hair appointment Thursday, and I just sent my hairdresser a note and said, I want to still pay you what I would normally pay you, because I know if you don't work, you don't get paid.
Right.
Trying to think of everybody like that, you know, where I can do something, that at least I figure if I could send her what I would normally send her, because I would do it anyway, maybe that'll help. This could go on a long time.
Hey, do you think we could add Steve to this call?
Sure. I'm working from an iPad, and so let me go up to the left-hand corner like you told me yesterday. One ringy dingy.
It's ringing.
Oh, yay! Oh, wonderful. Yay. I'm so glad. This is good to see you, and thank you for doing this. So, Steve, how is it adjusting for you? Because I know you guys are both doing some adjusting, as we all are.
You mean to being inside?
Yeah. I mean, the gym is closed. All the places you normally go, they're not open anymore.
Being inside together, it creates challenges.
You know, we talked about that yesterday, Nancy, about how we can make our lives together more livable when we're together all the time.
The funny thing is, right after we got off, we were saying, oh, yeah, we know we need to do this and that and the other. Then we had this little blow up. We were both laughing later because it was like, you know, you're just what we're saying, we're not going to do, and then you do it. It just happens, you know?
Right, right.
And I think it's no different than two people that work close together. That's human nature.
Yeah.
So you got to do everything you can to make sure that you minimize that. And what we talked about this morning is having our space. And it's not that difficult to do, but we need that time apart, I think, is healthy.
Well, friends, thank you so much for helping me demonstrate this today. I may be editing it some, but the conversation was wonderful, and I always appreciate your insights.
No problem.
Thanks,
No
guys.
problem.
Okay.
This helps me tremendously, I know, just being able to do this.
Bye, guys. And that's how you do it with an Apple product. Right now, I'm waiting for my friend Bryce to get online so we can talk about how to use GoToMeeting. Bryce is a business owner, so she's the one who owns the application GoToMeeting. So everything that happens to set this call up happens on Bryce's end. All I have to do is click a link that she sends me in an email, and I get to go to the meeting and wait for her to arrive. There's my friend Bryce. She does all of the work, and I get to talk to her. Unfortunately, I couldn't record the sound from this particular meeting, but I just wanted you to see what it looked like. Bryce shows up above. She can choose to be seen or not be seen. She has the option of showing what's on her screen so that she can share information with me by showing me what's on her laptop or her computer. GoToMeeting has some tutorials, and there's some information down below on how to use GoToMeeting. Bryce is very funny. She has two businesses. She's a wedding officiant, and that's Get Hitched in Colonial Beach. And she's also a notary public, and she teaches notary classes online, which is why she has GoToMeeting. You can find more links about Bryce below. I don't have all the answers. I'm just some woman trying to give you some of the answers that I've discovered through research and just talking to people. And this is, after all, a study of one. So if you have some things that you've learned in your study of one, share them with me in the comments section down below, and then they'll be more broadly shared with people who watch these videos. And we can all come up with ideas to keep in touch with people, because that's really, really important. We're social creatures, right? We're not recording yet.
Yes, we've been recording. It's time to go.